Hello, I'm Aaron and welcome back to the Laststandgamers channel. So today we're taking a look at a few more cool modifications from the Steam Workshop. We're going to be taking a look at the USS Wyoming here, this beautiful mod. We're going to be talking about the water modification, that everything is floating around in the background. We've also got these cool Aurora research vessel complete with a mini sub that we'll actually have a look at, and we've got some cruising and various different submarines that I've also found, all working on the water mod. So the water mod itself, let's talk about some of these features it has. Now we've seen water mods in the past and they are pretty good. You get your ship floating, but this one seems to be better optimized in many ways. First of all, we've got that lovely little shoreline water lapping up along this lovely golden sand beach. But we've also got a few other cool features. You might be able to hear them. We've actually got seagulls, and there is little birds flying around. You'll see them. Let's see if we can spot one. We'll go up here. Look, there's a little seagull just floating around the coast. How cool is that? Obviously, it's only a 2D shape, but it's just adding a little bit of detail, especially when you're at sea. You kind of really want to see a seagull. I guess it's going to kind of point you in the direction of land to a degree. Now, if we go underwater as well, we've got the Maresque under here, the one from Captain Phillips. And if we just start snooping around here, actually, I'll spawn my character over here so you can see a little bit of a better detailing of what it actually looks like underwater. So you can see there's these little bubble type effects. It's much darker. You can see the lighting. We'll go down in the mini sub and have a little bit of a better look. And what's that? There's a little fish. Cool little fish floating around. How awesome is that? You can see there's a few different variants floating around there as well. But it just makes the sea sort of come to life, if you understand what I mean. Really cool indeed. So let's talk about how you can actually get a boat to float. Now, when I was looking at this, I was wondering if it was going to be a volumetric like we've seen in the past, so you've got a massive open space underneath. This has caused the ship to float. It doesn't actually work like that. So if we go inside here, you'll notice I've placed these giant hydrogen or oxygen tanks on the inside. There is some water down here, but that's just part of the effects, I'm guessing. So you can see that we've got these giant tanks under here, and these will give us buoyancy. The more we're at, the more buoyant the actual ship will be. Looks like we're almost going to run aground here. We might have to correct that. So that is the water mod itself. Very cool, very simple, and it allows you to build some really cool ships. If I just stop here for the moment, you can actually see the ship slowly bobbing up and down in the water. You can see it's more apparent on some of the smaller ships. If I come over here, you'll be able to see a slight wiggle up and down in the water. Very cool indeed. And if you add the aerodynamic mod to this, you can actually build realistic rudders. So let's start over at the Wyoming over here. So this is a giant battleship, all completely vanilla, and it's just fantastic in design. We'll start at the front of the deck. So you can see how the front of the ship here, the bow, has been carved out. We've got that below water line here that I've managed to kind of level up. The ship itself, when you download it, doesn't come with any of these tanks inside, so I've fitted them so it works with the water mod. As we work our way down the deck, you can see rotors have been used as tie-off points. We've got two of the main deck guns there, and we've got some anti-aircraft guns along the side. So you can see one or two mounted up these. I believe these would be like 20mm autocannon types. And if we come down here, we've also got this smaller autocannon down there as well. They don't make battleships like this anymore. I mean, of course they don't need to, but if we go up into the conning tower up here, you can see all of the radar dishes and attachments they've got attached to there, and they've got the little viewing deck up here, so you can really see quite damn far. You can see the ships on the horizon over here. We have got a slight drift forward. We are going towards the island. We're going to have to change that really quickly. We've got the two chimney stacks at the back there, giving off a little bit of a smoke. We've got a crane so we can load and offload shells, ammunition, supplies for the ships. These ships require a lot of people, and because of that, you need a lot of food on board. We've got some more of the deck guns tucked down the sides. Another one of the conning towers up there, nicely detailed with these small blocks, so it's kind of a see-through clear type device, so you can kind of look through it, I guess. And you've got the rear deck guns here, so you'll notice that there is two staggered there and there's another two staggered here, so that gives a total of 6 guns aboard the ship. That's a lot of firepower. If you combine that with, for instance, with AWG's weapon pack, it would be some serious firepower. Let's go up to the bridge anyway. So there isn't much of an interior to this ship, but I'll show you what there is. So you'll notice that there's these large sort of turret baskets, a slight interior that leads you around the ship itself. You can see that through there, and then we'll just pop up to the main bridge like so. We're going to have to make some corrections because we are drifting into the island. I don't know if I'm going to be able to recover this. We have got a lot of gyroscopes on board. We're engaging our engines. Oh, we're going to run aground, I think. I'm adjusting the ship now as best I can. Come on, we might just have to power through this and use a speed to miss the edge of the island. It's not looking good, but you can see what's also pretty cool about the water mod. You'll see how the trail of like a little bit of water ripples, or sort of a rapid type effect, comes up behind the boat as you move it. Oh, we might have got this one stuck. We are way too close to the ground. This was because I took too long at the beginning setting everything up when I'm in a chat. But there we go. Not great maneuverability from a ship of this side. We have got tons of gyroscopes in the bottom. It might be better if we added the aerodynamics mod and we added some gyroscopes in. Okay, we'll move that there. Let's have a go at seeing if we can control one of these turrets on the deck. So by grabbing that, we actually have control of one of the turrets on the deck. We're going to unlock it, 8 and 9, and we should see it turn. And look at that. That is awesome. Imagine a multi-cruise battleship battle with something like this. So you can see the guns are turning. We've got rocket launchers in them turrets. And then we've also got a camera view itself, so we could fire some shots across. I don't think this is wired up to fire. I've had a good look through the menus, but there isn't one that's directly, unless it's controlled from the bridge. We might just have to add the actual weapons onto it. I know this is going to go wrong, guys, because the rear weapons are facing each other. So let's have a little bit of a blast and try not to cause too much damage. Oof! Very nice indeed. Yeah, them weapons on the inside are definitely going to need to be moved out before firing. Do not fire it in this mode. But it's very cool just to see a battleship of this scale. Let's pop this out so we gain a bit of our frame rate back. Lovely. And then let's head over to the research vessel. So we've also got a mini submarine here, a little U-boat, showing you some of the concepts that you could do if you wanted to. So you could dive down into the depths, make your own little torpedoes, sink them into the targets. You could also build a little cruise vessel like this, or you could even have a survival situation where you're on a raft. That I really like the idea of. Maybe a survival series where you start on a raft and you have to survive on the water, a bit like Waterworld would be awesome. It just depends how the mod would stay up to date. So down here into the hangar of the Aurora, we've got ourselves a mini submarine back here. And this has the capability of holding 2 people and going up and down within the water. But let's have a look through the other areas of this research ship. So we've got the front deck here, a nice open area. We've got the bridge itself, nicely detailed. And if I pop in here, you'll be able to see that this ship moves a little better than before. Let's see if that's the main cockpit. I don't think it is. Let's see if we've got that one. There we go. So we've got gyroscopic movement on that. We haven't got any thrust hooked up on that one, so that must not be the main one either. We'll have to we'll continue looking around the interior. So we've got a very compact interior design here as we go to these lower decks. We've got a little bit of a briefing type room, access to the upper deck, and we'll pop back into our camera and we'll have a look through. So as we go into the bowels of the ship, you've got the briefing room, we've got all these little interior rooms, cargo storage. You'd have to remember this is a research vessel, so they're going to have a lot of different bits of equipment on board for researching. And then we'll pop back towards the little diving vessel and we'll lower it in. So that should lower it down. That should switch the lock and disable it. And then we come aboard here. Ooh, nearly fell overboard. That one not being a good thing. Pop the hatch like so. We drop ourselves in. We hit number 9. That seals up the hatch above us. And then we begin to descend. So to descend, that I thought was quite cool, is they use this system. You're basically applying pressure with the thrusters to override the buoyancy of the tanks on board. And when you do this, oh, don't clip aside, Aaron. You start to go down. And of course we can adjust the speed of them thrusters so we can push ourselves down. We can also equalize the force of the tank. So if I press number 4 here, that should equalize the tanks and let me just float in space. But we've got this ship down here to have an explore of. So we can move ourselves over into this area. Of course, we'll be having fish and all sorts of different creatures going past. And you'll see that bubbles come out of the little thrusters at the back. That I think is a really cool detail. But of course, we could do a little rescue mission down here, explore the wreckage of the ships, and then return back up. The gyroscopes I've noticed are a little bit different. They handle a little bit more drifty, but this could just be how some of these ships are set up. So let's remove that and we'll begin floating back up to the top of the surface. Very cool indeed. I really like this cargo container ship. It is a little bit on the small style for the scale, but still really damn awesome. I'm just enjoying how the water mod affects the movement of the ship. So there we go. We're back up at the surface, so we could dock. And the tanks have been placed in such a way with this one, so you're actually always under the ground. Oh, well, underground, underwater. So let's go and have a quick look at this submarine over here. And we'll pull ourselves into position. We'll put our inertia dampeners back on. We're still going to slide into that thing. You can see a little bit of the trail of the water. Ooh, don't hit it too hard. And we'll climb aboard the deck of this one. So we've got the submarine. We've got a little bit of a deck gun there at the front. Really cool. Let's go up into the hatch. We've got the conning tower, so you could see threats on the horizon. I think combining this with the plane mods and the aerodynamic mod would be awesome. Seeing the planes come in, you have to shoot the guns up at them. So as we drop down, we're into the actual sort of interior main room of the submarine, where it is piloted from. Awesome. Let's pop into this area. So we've got like a prep station. It could be a kitchen, a cryopod room, an engine room. Really detailed, this submarine. I've been wanting to show this one off for ages, but I didn't think it was right until I got in the water world. Tube 5. So we've got the rear tubes there that we can launch if we want. I believe that is start the engines up in this rear section. So we have the hydrogen engines, I believe, in that section, or hydrogen tanks, so we can run the power through here. And we have the diesel for when we're on the surface. Of course, you'd want to keep all these compartments sealed so you do not sink. We've got a communications room in here. What's this say? This is torpedo rooms. This is explaining that there's a leak apparently in the torpedo rooms. Let's just see if I can seal this up and solve this issue. Let me have a look on these displays. Okay, there's still apparently a leak in that area, because I don't know if this is configured for the old water modification, but it's still doing pretty damn well in here. I love the interior. Just look at the piping and the detail in each segment. Lovely. Let's get in control of this thing. So we've got quite good all-around thrust with this and good gyroscopic movements. The U-96 can definitely get moving if it wants to. So we can also activate various other thrusters. So we've got hydrogen there that we've just activated. The only thing that frustrates me a little bit about this submarine is we cannot dive with it, because we don't have the thrusters configured for it to go underwater. But at the moment, you can see it's got that nice little stream behind us, and we could easily maneuver, fire some torpedoes at a target and get out of there. We've also got the rockets on the deck. You can see the rockets firing forward. Let's add them rockets to the hood here. So I believe this would be done by another chair, but if I fire them forward, that's going to fire the deck gun. Awesome. The only issue that I don't like about it is if you do penetrate their hull, you are then looking for their hydrogen tanks to destroy, rather than putting a big hole in the side and hoping for the best. Because if you stuck a big hole in it, you'd expect it to fill with water and for it to sink. But that's not going to be the case unless you start taking out the hydrogen tanks that are on the inside. So pretty cool. Really nice mods. Some really cool ships. And I look forward to maybe having some battles with this in the future. I'd love to do it on the server, but I think it's just too much of a risk. I don't know how the mod's going to go, and would it last like a month duration without creating a hell of a lot of sim speed drop. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.